Hi, Roxy. Hi, gorgeous. There you go. There you go. We're going to show you how to have a bottle with the elevated side lying position. Um, so when you place a baby to feed with this technique, you put their bottom in your tummy and they are on a straight line on the left side. And you can you want to go a bit elevated, hence the name, and either on your knees, or you can have a stool, or you can simply be leaning back in the sofa or your bed if you want to. You can support the back of the shoulders, but you don't need to. You could just rest the baby there if they seem comfortable. In this hold, they are slightly inclined because they're on their left and the natural curvature of the stomach pouch. There is good distance between where the milk sits and the esophagus, so it reduces the chances of reflux and vomiting. Let's feed Roxy because she's being very patient. Okay. You want to tickle the end of the teeth and place the bottle, the base of the bottle, with their chin. Oh, sorry, Roxy. There you go. And you want to make sure the valve or the anticolic system is always placing up, like there in this bottle has it up there in the teeth. When she's ready, when you've asked for some form of consent to feed them, you introduce the bottle, aiming for the teeth to be up in the palate, because that's where the nipple would be placed when the baby is breastfed. And we always have to think of the biological way of feeding a baby, which is that they're designed to go to the breast. So you want to mimic that position with a bottle as well. Initially, when you start with a really slow flow. Don't worry about air because all these bottles have an anticolic system, so air travels up from the valve. And then you can start introducing flow slowly and allow the baby to do some of the work rather than being fed by gravity. And then you can increase the flow, like at the breast, there will be a let down where the baby, there you go, we need to follow the baby's cues. She was getting a bit overwhelmed. There you go. Should we take it slowly? Well done. And we go again. So always watch the baby. They'll tell you if they're enjoying it or they need a break. This position is great because if they get overwhelmed with the flow, they can dribble some milk on the side rather than choke or cough. And you want a bottle to take around 15 to 20 minutes, even half an hour if it's a really full bottle. You never want to feed a baby in any less than that. We have a hormone called the satiety hormone. It tells us when we're full, but it only kicks in 15 minutes after you start eating. So if you feed a baby in any less than 15 minutes, they're likely to overfeed. And then you're more likely for them to be uncomfortable or vomit after. There she's pacing herself. And this is exactly what happens at the breast where the flow is not constant. So it's a more physiological way of feeding a baby. And this is whether you are transitioning from breast to bottle or you are exclusively bottle feeding. So you'll get a lot of information from watching the baby, and they are participates in the act of feeding, and it's important we respect their pace. I really like bottles that have a gradual slope like this one, rather than a long teat and a very wide base, because it mimics the best what the breast looks like inside of the baby's mouth. So it really isn't about nipple confusion. Babies don't so much get nipple confusion. What they get is a flow preference. And so that's why if you're transitioning from breast to bottle, try to do this pacing so that then they don't go to the breast and expect an easy flow that just happens by gravity. And you don't need to burp as often with this position because of being on their left and the angle of the esophagus, the air will travel up more easily. Also, a baby that needs burping, they are visibly uncomfortable. So the aim is not to get a burp, but just to offer a burp if they seem that they need one. And if you do want to offer a burp, the best way to do it is you keep baby on their left side, then you bring them onto your right shoulder, so they're still living on their left. There you go. We're done. That's my girl. Perfect. And there is no tension in their body. They're really comfortable, like when they are at the in your body in a semi-reclined position. That's why this hold is great, rather than being sitting too upright with pressure on their abdominal area. Here, their body, their back, their spine is completely relaxed. So if you can see, at no point the teat is full of milk. There is always milk at the end. And if you need to really pace it because the baby is gulping, you can tilt the bottle down and remove the flow, but not remove the bottle of the baby's mouth, because at the breast, you don't keep removing the breast of the baby's mouth. So you shouldn't do that. It just generates frustration and a baby that cries more. And when the milk flow is coming to an end, instead of tilting the bottle like this and changing the position of the tip of the teat, you want to tilt the baby with the bottle. So you at no point change the position of the bottle. And that's really important for their oral development. Always really good tip is to keep their hands out. At the breast, their fingertips are in contact with the breast tissue. And look, she's holding on to the bottle. And they guide themselves with their hands, with touch and smell. So don't remove any of those senses by covering the hands with mittens.